I got a band 9 3 times in IELTS reading. To score high, you must know how to answer all the questions within the given time. In this video, I will show you my reading strategy that helps you finish an IELTS reading passage in under 20 minutes. Let's get started! If you're going to take your IELTS soon, check out my IELTS courses. There, I teach you everything you need to score high. I show you step by step how to give high-scoring answers. And of course, we do many practice tests together, so you will feel confident for your test. You can find the link in the description below. And now, let's get started. First, let's quickly have a look at the instructions. You should spend about 20 minutes on questions 27 to 40, which are based on reading passage 3 below. We go directly to the questions, because at the beginning, you have absolutely no idea what the questions are about. So if you read the passage first, you waste valuable time because you don't know what you need to look for in the passage. Therefore, go directly to the questions, check what they ask you to do, and then scan for the relevant information in the passage. This helps you find the correct answers really fast. And that's what we are going to do now. Here it says, complete the diagram below. Write no more than 2 words from the passage for each answer. This is super important, guys. Here it says no more than 2 words. So if you write more than 2 words, the answer is wrong. So make sure you pay attention to the instructions. Write your answers in boxes 27 to 31 on your answer sheet. Here it says cells at ADX Florence. So we are looking for cells in the passage because this is what the diagram is about. Let's check the passage for the word cells. Paragraph 2. I can see ADX Florence here. Maybe let's quickly read the sentence so we know what this is about. ADX Florence is the most secure administrative prison in the United States. And then the paragraph describes the prison and says that since it opened in 1995, nobody has escaped from this prison. And then the passage continues. So we're still looking for the word cells. I can see it here in this paragraph. So let's read from here. The building and daily routine. So the building obviously refers to ADX Florence here. And this is what we're looking for because this is what it says here, right? What does the paragraph say? The building and daily routine are designed so that inmates cannot become familiar with the prison layout or the world outside and therefore cannot plan an escape route. Cells are just 2 meters wide and 3.5 meters long. So now the cells are described and this is what we are looking for. This is what we need. At one end of the cell is a steel door and a serving hatch through which food and drink can be passed. At the other, above the prisoner's bed, is a slit window measuring 10 centimeters across through which only sky can be seen. Let's have a look at the diagram and let's see whether we can already label anything with this sentence. This here seems to be a bed, right? And this is what the sentence was talking about. It said, at the other end of the cell, above the prisoner's bed is a slit window measuring 10 centimeters through which only sky can be seen. So this is the bed. And then above the bed, there is a slit window. And this is this thing here. So this is number 31. So the correct answer for number 31 is slit window. I'm going to write this down. Amazing. Let's continue. What else does the paragraph tell us about this cell? Here, this sentence is actually pretty important for another reason as well, because it says at one end of the cell is a steel door and a serving hatch through which food and drink can be passed. And at the other, above the prisoner's bed, is a slit window. So this is one end here, and this is the other end here. So we know that this is the slit window. And what is at the other end? There is a serving hatch and a door. This is what it says here. A steel door and a serving hatch through which food and drink can be passed. So number 27 is obviously the serving hatch. I'm going to write down serving hatch. Amazing. Let's continue. We've already found 2 labels. Adjacent to the bed is an automatic shower which comes on 3 times a week, and that its food is a concrete stool and combined toilet and sink. This is a lot of information. Let's see whether we can see the shower. Yeah, I can see it. So adjacent to the bed, this is the bed, is a shower. So this is the shower, and the shower is number 30. So I'm going to write shower. What does it say here? It's at automatic shower, and we are allowed to write no more than 2 words. So automatic shower is fine. Let's continue. An automatic shower, what else can we see? And at its foot is a concrete stool and combined toilet and sink. We can see number 29 here pointing at something. This is at the foot of the prisoner's bed, and so this is the concrete stool. This is what it says here. At its foot, this refers to the bed, is a concrete stool. So I'm going to write down concrete stool. And what else can we see there? A combined toilet and sink. Do we need to label this as well? A toilet and sink, this is this thing here, but there is no number, so we don't need to label this one. The only label that is left is number 28. We need 28. What is 28 about? Let's check the paragraph. All of the fittings in the cells are made of concrete, since the material is almost impossible to break down, and an extra layer of security between the cell and the main entrance is provided by a barred secondary door. This is interesting, because between the cell and the main entrance is a secondary door. This is the cell here, and this is the main entrance, right? So this here is our secondary door. Okay, we are done with this diagram. We are done with questions 27 to 31. Amazing. By the way, if you want more IELTS reading practice tests, hit the like button and write yes in the comments. If you want something else, tell me your video wish in the comments so I know what you would like to see on this channel. Now, let's continue solving this test. Let's continue with the next ones. 32 to 36. Do the following statements agree with the information given in reading passage 3. In boxes 32 to 36 on your answer sheet, write true if the statement agrees with the information, false if it contradicts the information, and not given if there is no information on this. So let's have a look at the statements. In the United States, prisoners in low security prisons are able to attend classes and gain work experience. So we are looking for low security prisons. Does the passage say anything about low security prisons and what prisoners are allowed to do? American prisons have 5 categories of security. Minimum, low, here it mentions low security prisons. Medium, high, and administrative or supermax. In a minimum security prison, inmates have generally committed non-violent financial crimes. And then the passage continues, and then it says here, are offered educational opportunities and work placements during their sentence. At the other end of the scale, those serving time in administrative prisons are extremely dangerous and are kept in solitary confinement 23 hours a day. And then the passage continues with ADX Florence and describes this prison. So it doesn't tell us anything about low security prisons. It tells us that prisoners in minimum security prisons here are offered educational opportunities and work placements, but it doesn't say anything about low security prisons. Let's quickly have a look at the next statement, because if we can't find information about the next statement in the passage, we can be sure that the answer is not given, because there is nothing about low security prisons and being able to attend classes and gaining work experience in the passage. And true, false, not given questions usually come in order. You should always pay attention because it may not always be the case, but usually they come in order. So this is pretty helpful here. The next question says, since ADX Florence opened, there have always been fewer than 500 inmates held there. Let's look for this number. This should help us find the correct answer pretty fast. Here, the passage says, located in the Rocky Mountains in the west of the country, it can hold up to 500 men. though it has never operated at capacity and is reputedly escape-proof. Now we know two things. The first thing we know is that the correct answer for the first statement is not given, because here comes the answer to the second statement, and this paragraph doesn't talk about what people are allowed to do in low security prisons, whether they can attend classes and gain work experience. So here the correct answer is not given. And second, the second thing we know is the correct answer to question number 33, because here it says that ADX Florence can hold up to 500 men, but it has never operated at capacity. This means that there have always been fewer than 500 inmates held there. So the correct answer is true, because the statement agrees with the information given in the passage. Let's move on to the next statement. Prisoners at ADX Florence can receive rewards if they do not cause any trouble. So let's check the passage. Let's see whether they can receive rewards if they don't cause any trouble. Where can we find this information in the passage? The first three paragraphs don't talk about that. We've already had a look at them. Let's have a look at the next one. The next paragraph talks about prisoners and what they are allowed to do. They are allowed out of their cells for an hour of exercise each day. And then it says that communication with the outside world is limited. Phone calls are restricted. Okay, nothing about rewards here. And then it says, and access to books, radio, and television is dependent on good behavior. Here we have it. If people behave well, they can get access to books, radio, and television. So obviously, this is a kind of a reward, right? So the correct answer is true. Next question. The main reason Supermax prisons are expensive to run is that they require additional security staff. So we're looking for the main reason Supermax prisons are expensive to run. And you can see here, if you scan, that there are numbers here. Numbers which look pretty much like money because there is a dollar symbol. So this seems to be the correct paragraph. So let's read this one more closely. Keeping these criminals in administrative prisons is expensive. This is what we are looking for. ADX Florence costs 60 million to build, and the amount spent per inmate can double, and so on. But what's the reason? Here it says, this difference is primarily due to the complex electronic security systems that must be installed and maintained at administrative facilities, but the high ratio of staff to prisoners is also a factor. Which difference are they talking about here? They are talking about the difference between the annual bill for a prisoner at Colorado Correctional Center and a Supermax prison. And then the passage says this difference is primarily due to the complex electronic security systems. So what about our statement? The statement says that the main reason Supermax prisons are expensive to run is that they require additional security staff. But the passage says that the difference is primarily due to, so the main reason for this difference is due to the complex electronic security systems. The passage does say that the high ratio of staff to prisoners is also a factor, but the main reason are the complex electronic security systems. So the correct answer is false, because the statement contradicts the information given in the passage. So I'm going to write down false. Next, the UK is the only country in Europe to use the equivalent of Supermax prisons. We're looking for the UK in the passage. This is an excellent keyword. Names of countries cannot be changed. So if the passage talks about the UK, we will find it. The passage says that other countries that use the equivalent of Supermax prisons include Mexico, Australia, and the UK. But it doesn't say that the UK is the only country in Europe to use the equivalent of Supermax prisons. The passage doesn't name any other countries, but it doesn't say that the UK is the only country in Europe who uses Supermax prisons. It only says that the UK uses them, and that's it. So The correct answer is not given, because the passage doesn't say anything about that. So I'm going to write down not given. Amazing, we're done with the true, false, not given questions. Let's move on to questions 37 to 40. Complete the summary below. Write no more than 2 words. Again, this is super important. No more than 2 words from the passage for each answer. Write your answers in boxes 37 to 40 on your answer sheet. Famous inmates at ADX Florence. This is what the title says. So, what is this summary about? High-profile criminals imprisoned at ADX Florence include Joka Tsarnev, who was convicted of something. Guys, this is excellent. Like, this is a gift, because the summary mentions a name, and names are excellent keywords. If the passage talks about that, you will find the name exactly like that in the passage. So let's scan for this name here. I can already see it. So what are we looking for? A conviction. It says include the person here who was convicted of. So convicted of what? We're looking for the offense, right? Let's read from here. While some have suggested that incarceration in a supermax prison is too harsh a punishment for any crime, others consider it a proportionate response and deterrent for the most serious offenses, such as terrorism. Among those currently imprisoned at ADX Florence are both foreign and domestic terrorists, and then the passage talks about another person, and then it says, and American Joka Tsarnev, who planted a bomb at the Boston Marathon in 2013. So what did he do? He's a terrorist. But we cannot enter this because the summary says was convicted of. So terrorist doesn't work. But what does work is terrorism. He was convicted of terrorism. This is what we are going to enter here. This is the word we are looking for. Terrorism. Make sure you write this correctly. It's a difficult word because it has 2 R in it at the beginning and then another R. And Robert Hansen, who was convicted of, and we're looking for another conviction and looking for this person here. Yes, here he is. Over many years, Noshir Govadia and Robert Hansen passed classified information to China and Russia respectively. And then the paragraph continues talking about other people. So what did he do? Let's read the sentence before that as well. Other crimes that may see convicts housed in ADX Florence are espionage and organized crime. Over many years, Noshir Govadia and Robert Hansen passed classified information to China and Russia respectively. So they passed classified information to China and Russia. So what Robert Hansen did was espionage, right? This is what we need to enter. Espionage. Next, inmate Luis Felipe was convicted of multiple offenses, all of them falling under the umbrella of. We are looking for Luis Felipe. Here, I can see him here. So we continue reading this sentence. While James Marcello, the Chicago outfit, and Luis Felipe, Latin Kings, committed offenses including murder, robbery, extortion, and drug trafficking as heads of their gangs. So we have many offenses here. But we can only enter one because it says convicted of multiple offenses, all of them falling under the umbrella of what? So they can be grouped into one offense. And this is organized crime. This is what it says here. So organized crime is the correct answer. Finally, let's solve the last question. Those in favor of supermax prisons argue that their harsh conditions serve as a something to major criminals. Clearly, this is not always the case. So what do the harsh conditions do? They serve as a what? Here, we read this sentence earlier. Maybe you remember that. The first sentence says, while some have suggested that incarceration in a supermax prison is too harsh a punishment for any crime. So here we have the word harsh, and this is what we're looking for because the summary he mentions the word harsh, right? Others consider it a proportionate response and a deterrent for the most serious offenses such as terrorism. Which word do we need to enter? The harsh conditions serve as a what? They serve as a deterrent. This is what it says here, right? A deterrent for the most serious offenses. A deterrent to major criminals. So I'm going to write down deterrent. Again, this is a difficult word. Make sure you write this one correctly. Amazing! We are done with questions 37 to 40, and this means that we have solved this reading passage in under 20 minutes. Great job! I hope you liked this video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and click the bell icon so you're notified when the next video comes out. Also, share this video with your friends so they can improve their IELTS score too. See you in the next video!